Hey everybody, it's K Live. I'm actually doing this video to show you guys a comparison between a few 980 Ti's. I actually really wanted to kind of see someone kind of break each card down and in their personal opinion, you know, boost clocks, coil whine, overclocking potential, Asic quality, all that good stuff. And I couldn't really find a video. You know, you can kind of piece them together from other channels and just kind of make your own comparison that way. But actually, you know, having all of just I guess the best three cards you could say in my personal opinion that's out there for the 980 Ti's, and these were the ones I decided to give a try. So I got the 980 Ti super clock from EVGA. I got the Gigabyte G1, which most people seem to say is the best, and then I have the MSI G6. So these are just kind of like the three of the biggest brands. Like there's other ones like the, what is it? I'm not sure the brand, the Amped edition, the Zotac, and the Asus, the Strix card. At the time, I couldn't get those; they weren't in stock. So, and I didn't want to spend an extra like $1,200 to get those other two cards when I'm not interested in those brands. These are the three brands that I like personally. So this is what I'm kind of checking out. So right now, I have the Gigabyte in my case right now. I'm not sure if you can see that, and I'm actually going to do a coil whine test real quick. I guess no, actually first let's check out the Asic quality, what it gets. So let's do that. Come on, focus, focus. There we go. So we go up here and let's do run Asic quality. And the Asic score for the Gigabyte is a 74.1, which is pretty good. You know, it's a custom PCB. I know the average the reference cards were averaging about 68 to 70. So considering this is a full custom PCB, you know, that's what I would expect. So let's do the coil whine test. And this is what I have the card overclock to. And this is what I found was stable for me. I could push it further than this, but I didn't really, the like benefit versus performance type deal, like, you know, how much it's going to cost me more in my light bill, which people are like, oh god, it's only 5 cents or 10 cents. I'm OCD like that, like I want to save every dime. So this was a sweet spot for me. I got it to about plus 140 on the core, but it would crash like kind of occasionally, so I dropped it down to 130 and it was stable. And I did some benchmarks between 130 and 122, and it was like a frame difference. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, leave it alone. But I'm not doing benchmarking here. So, but the biggest thing that people will say about these cards is they don't have any coil whine. And most games that people play, they say, oh, well, if you do this, you know, this game, you know, play Battlefield, unless it's a high FPS game that you can get like ridiculous frames on, I found out almost every card has some form of coil whine. So I'm going to load Alien Isolation. This should be like the coil whine like game to see, because I don't care what cards you have. This card, I mean, every 980 I put on here coil whine. And I have all my speakers off, everything's off, so you'll hear it in a second. And there it is. It just kicked in there, like, because I think it knows the game's about to boot up or something. But even the 290X2, excuse me, the 295X2 that I'm upgrading from, it was really bad on this game. And there it is. I'm actually going to get close to it so you guys can hear it. Not sure if that's coming through or not. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the game, and when it loads, it's going to go away for a hot second. So I'm getting ready to start the game right now. Oh wait, never mind. That was like a pick a difficulty. No, I don't want to actually do that. Hold on. Noob here. And they're gonna pound me in the comments. Continue. Oh, and there it is. So it's off now. So when the game starts up, just listen. So right now it went away completely while the game's loading. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not, but it's there and it's real faint, but it's there. So I'm gonna quitting now. and it went away. So I'm gonna go back into the game again and tell me if you hear it. So I'm gonna try to do it a little bit more smoothly this time. Oh. Come on, I can't skip these intro videos? Guess not. You guys are just looking inside my case. Come on. Okay, here we go. We should be at the menu screen in a second. Menu screen, Coil whine. It's not loud. With the case, with the door closed and you're gaming with the case side panel on, you're gaming, it's fine. So now I'm actually going to go to continue game, and you'll hear it stop immediately. So right now when I press continue, it's going to just stop. So just listen. So 3, 2, 1, and it went away. As soon as we get in the game, it's going to come back on. So yeah. So if you can't hear it, like I said, it's not that loud, but it is there. I mean, because look at the frame rates on this thing, man. Like, you're getting 300 frames on this game. So, for the most part, I really do like the MSI, and I will give you kind of my comparison when I'm done, because I'm gonna have them all side by side. I'll talk about how each one feels, and we'll go from there. So that's the MSI, and this was the highest I was able to push it again that I'm comfortable with. The temperature of this card, I will say though, but I do have like a crap load of fans like blowing on that thing. But the temperature never goes over 72. Never. And when the fan speed is around 60 or 70, I still can't hear them. Like my case fans are louder than this GPU fan for the G1. So I'm going to cut out and I'll be right back. I'm going to pop in the, let's do the Gigabyte next. So I'm going to pause it and be right back with the Gigabyte. Okay guys, we're back. We got the MSI in there now. I think I might have made a mistake and said the Gigabyte. We're getting a Gigabyte. We actually have the MSI in there now. Just took it out of the box. That's Sky right there. She's sleeping. So we got the Gigabyte. Well, excuse me, the MSI in there now. So here it is in the case. Let me focus that. There. What? Let me focus it just so you see it. Oh, that's as good as it's gonna focus. Now, this card is the biggest out of all the cards as far as height. Like, it's actually very tall. But overall, you know, let's see the Asic quality on this one. But overall, I do like it. I've been a huge fan of MSI. I have an MSI motherboard in there. I think they kind of been living off their name for a little while now. Not like a long time, but they haven't really raised the bar. So first, let's check the Asic quality. Where's the Asic? Let's do the Asic test. Let's see what it's at. Well, not test, but, you know, the quality thing to see where it's at. Read Asic quality. So the MSI is a 71. So it's lower than the Gigabyte. The Gigabyte was 74 point something. And so it's just a little bit lower. But what's funny is I was actually able to get a better overclock with this card, but the stock clock and the boost clock was lower than the Gigabyte, I believe, because when our game, I believe the Gigabyte was almost at 1500 megahertz, and this was at like 1470. But let's go ahead and do the Coil whine test on this card with the Coil whine test game, Alien Isolation, and see how it does. So there's no sound in here at all. I got everything turned off. All the fans are turned down in the case. No audio anywhere. So let's see. I'm about to put it in here so we can hear it when it comes on. I'm gonna tell you when the game starts. So pretty much when I say the game started, I mean the Coil whine, you listen to it about a second after, well before I say it's on, the game started. And it's on. There it is. I can hear it. It's a little less than the Gigabyte. I would say the Gigabyte on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that it's you know, just the loudest card you ever heard, like a jet engine taking off. That's a 10. And a 1 being dead silent. The Gigabyte is about a 5, and this is about a 4. But still, once you put the case on, like if I do this and I put the fans on, like you can't hear it. Like you can't hear it. But you know, you can see the clocks on this. I actually see, yeah, this is only 1463, and I believe the Gigabyte was closer to 1500 megahertz. But let's see. We're gonna go into the game real quick, and let's just start it. Focus. Thank you. So now I'm gonna do continue, and when you hear continue, you hear, I'm gonna tell you when I push it, so you hear the coil whine. So I'm gonna stop for a second, because it's still there, low. So I'm gonna continue. Cut out. You may hear it come back, let's see. And there it is. But it's low. I wanna change, this is actually probably a 3.5. Yeah, this is actually lower than the Gigabyte by probably about, you know, 1.5. So like I said, the Gigabyte's a 5. Well, let me rephrase. As I said, a jet engine, like loud. So a Gigabyte is a 3. This is probably a 2.5. So it's lower than the Gigabyte. The Gigabyte is a little bit louder as far as coil whine. But once again, it is there. It's just really, 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 really faint. So this is the MSI, and we're going to cut back to the EVGA superclock right now. So when I come back, we'll have the EVGA going on and get that going. Okay, wait, let's get out of here. Cool. Be right back. All right, we're back again with part 3. We have the EVGA in there now, and let me say something. That MSI was hot when I took it out of the system. Like, I mean, it wasn't like hot will burn you, but I pulled my hand back when I first touched it. The Gigabyte was warm. It wasn't hot like that, so I don't know what that's about. But you know, I never had any issue with the card when I was running the game with artifacting or anything, but it was hot, not warm. It was hot. So that's just something to mention when I took it out. So now, you know, we have the MSI, we got the Gigabyte, we have the EVGA in the system now. So I will say this, I like the LEDs, the white strip. Like, it just seemed like I just like the way it looked for some reason. I don't know why. I just like the way it looks in the case more than the other cards. But let's get to what we came here for. This card, let's check the Asic quality. And what the heck did I just do? Get out of here. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. So Asic quality for this card is bam. Wow, 76.5. So that's the highest that I have out of these 3 cards, because the Gigabyte was 74 point something. But so a high Asic score there. So that means I guess should be overclocked a little bit more. And I did find that I could overclock this card further than the other cards. For whatever reason on the core clock though. When I overclocked the memory past like 375, I would get artifacting. So I don't know what that was about. So I dropped it down to, come on, focus. So I dropped it, come on, focus. There we go. So I dropped it down to 350. And I was able to get the core clock to like 155, and it was pretty stable. I took it to 200 at one point just to see, but it crashed every now and then, so I don't like pushing cards to the limit, just a little bit more. So I found that the plus 140 was good for me for what I wanted. So that's it. Now let's do the coil whine test, and I'm hoping you guys can pick this up on the camera. Well, on my phone. I'm actually doing this with my Note 4. So I'm hoping you guys, it comes through. Like I said, it's ever so faint. It's not major, but it's real faint, but it is there. So now we're doing the coil whine test with the EVGA that's in the system. My fans are getting jacked up for me pulling cards in and out. But So let's see. I'm gonna put it in the system now because you hear it in a second. When I say the game just started, when I hear it, I'll let you know. So when I hear it, it's about a second before that. There it is. And like I said, and what's funny is, this is the lowest out of all the cards. I mean, it's only slightly lower than the MSI, but it's there. Because I mean, you can see the FPS. I mean, at the title screen, it's over 5,000, but 500. That was so lame. But so yeah, it's over 500. So that's some pretty high FPS. And from what I've seen, any game that can push a card over that limit, like say the 200, 300 mark, you're going to get it. I mean, you're going to. It's nothing you can do about it from what I've seen. I mean, unless you get 1 out of 10 cards that don't. So now I just started the game. Well, I continue, so you should hear it in a second. It's this big. I'm going to get really close. I tried to shut up, so I'm not sure if you guys can hear that or not. But it's low. But it is there. But it's so low. I mean, and once again, unless you're playing games like this, you won't have that problem. I mean, look at this. This is this is completely maxed out. 200, and this is actually lower than the lowest FPS I've seen at this particular scene. This is just a startup scene. When I turn around, normally it's still over 300. But you know what? I'm gonna put it back in because when I look around, it's kind of, you can hear it go in and out. So let me see. I'm gonna put it in here and I'm gonna move around really fast with the mouse, see if you hear anything. Not sure, but when you move, you can hear it a little bit more. But that's it. So I'm gonna take this card out, and I'll let you know which one I'm keeping. The other one I'll be probably giving to my brother and one to my son. So that's it. That's the cards. That's the last test for the Coil, whine, and the Asic score. So I'm gonna cut right back and transition back with just a close-up of all the cards, which one I think is the best for me, and my opinion, which one I'm keeping. So I'll be right back. And one more thing I wanted to note is, look at that temperature. This is the EVGA one still in there. And what is it's on auto. The fan speed is on auto. So this thing is at 78 degrees. And like I said, the Gigabyte very rarely ever broke 70. And the MSI did, I believe it got to about 73, 72. So just wanted to show you guys that temperature for the EVGA. Be right back. Alright guys, we're back. I got all 3 cards out, and I'm going to start with telling you which card is my favorite and why, which one I'll more likely be keeping. And for the most part, all these were very good cards. You can't go wrong with any card. Like I said, this is just my personal opinion. Benchmarking with these cards is pretty irrelevant because they're close to each other. I mean, give or take 5 or 6 frames. Even like, when you overclock them to their max, I mean, 10 frames, and when you get the frame rates that we're talking about with these cards, it's not a big deal. And besides, there's too many variables, too many different ASIC scores and all this stuff, different system specs, and to really go down and say which card outperforms which. They're comparable. They're the exact same model. They're the exact same chip, like, other than the boards. I mean, it's comparable. I'm not comparing which card performs better here. I think that's pointless. But what it does come down to when you buy these cards is the aesthetics. How does it look to you? Do you like it? Do you not like it? How quiet it is? How efficient it is? How cool it is? All that good stuff. So now, in my personal opinion, my least favorite card would be the EVGA. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with EVGA card per se. It was just that for some reason, I just didn't care for the overall just look of the card when it's out of the case. When it's in the case, it looks good. This LED that lights up right here, this LED. Oh, let me set this down. This LED up here is really, really, really good. Like, I like the way it looks. But the overall card just looks like blah to me, you know, when I look at it. Like, when I go to resell this later, or actually, I'm sorry, I'm not reselling any of these particular cards. This card over here will be resold. I will be selling that soon. But when it comes down to, you know, just resale value, I guess whenever my brother or whoever I get it to, my son goes to get rid of this card, it just doesn't, I don't know, and it's just the standard PCB. It only has the 6 and 8 pin, so I guess the power delivery system hasn't really changed. So I just feel like when you're paying extra money, like, I'd rather just get the reference card, even though this card is probably only about $10 more. So this was my least favorite, okay? So now let's just go to my second favorite thing. You'll know the winner, which one I picked, is the Gigabyte. Oh, the MSI. MSI card is a good card too. One thing it just threw me off, and I might have picked it, is it's hot. Like, when I mean it gets hot quick. I don't know if it's this sample that I have, like this particular card, but I mean it gets hot fast. I mean fast. But the card itself is very sick looking. Like, I love the back plate, and it's overall a good card. And it was probably, you know, going toe to toe as far as how silent it was with the Coil whine. Oh my goodness, my son, I'm gonna kill my son. That's him playing games in the background. KJ,
yeah.
Turn that down, please. Okay. Come close my door. Okay. Thank you. Yep, you're welcome. So, the MSI was very quiet. Okay, now all these cars are quiet. Like, I mean, when it's in your case, you're gaming, even with moderate speakers, you know, you don't have to have great speakers, or if you have headphones, you won't hear it, period. But it was just hot. It was hot, okay? And I just didn't care for that. And it just, that's it. That was the biggest reason, how hot it was. So obviously my favorite was the Gigabyte. This thing, for the most part, is fairly quiet. It overclocked really good. I love the way it looks, and it has a decent Asic score. And once again, that's luck of the draw. If you get one that's good, that's bad, whatever. I don't know. I've never really dove into what the Asic mean. I know that's what the Asic score means. I know it's the quality of the chip, like how close to factory specs it's supposed to be. But the Gigabyte just, I mean, it feels like a Big Daddy. Like, it just feels like this thing could be in freaking Raptor. Like, you could, if a Big Daddy was coming at you from BioShock, you could hit him with this and it would hurt. I mean, that's another thing too when it comes down to it. This thing is all, I don't know if it is, it feels all metal. Like, it feels like a completely metal card. Like, these two are blatant plastic. Like, they're plastic. Do I have a screwdriver? Okay, here we go. Watch this. I don't know if this is going to come through for you. So listen to this. Plastic. Plastic. I mean, I don't know if it sounds different, but it's this thing feels, it feels like metal. Like, it feels just like a premium. Like, it feels like these are like, say, you know, a new Mustang, 2015 Mustang. We have a 2000 Nissan Maximum, and this is a Bentley. As far as just how it feels like metal. It feels like a substantial, hefty card. I mean, the back plate on here looks good too. I love the back plate on the MSI, but this is a good back plate too. But overall, I mean, just the Gigabyte is what I'm going with. And I can't stress to you enough, there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to picking out these cards. They're all the same. They all perform, you know, close to each other. Like, nothing is leaps and bounds above. But now I do understand why, because the EVGA Superclock is in stock on Amazon right now. I believe it's in stock on Newegg. You can't find the MSI and the Gigabyte. You really can't find the Gigabyte. Like, the Gigabyte is really hard to get. But in general, that is my favorite card. That is the one I'm going to keep. Again, the Coil whine on both cards. EVGA was the quietest. The MSI was the second quietest, and the Gigabyte was the loudest. But once again, when I mean loud, just out of all of them, it's almost like this. Psst versus psst. Like, it's some people won't even hear it, period. You won't hear it from a decent case. And the Asic score was, the Gigabyte was a 70, let's just say 47. The MSI was a 71 or 70, and the EVGA was a 76. So that was the highest. So that's it, guys. I hope it helped you out. Like the video. Leave me a comment below which one you guys like better. I love to hear your comments. So if you have any questions at all, leave them down there as well. And I may do some benchmarking. I doubt it since there's so many videos out there already. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy your night. Peace.